All right, Sagir, you followed the political scene in Nigeria from January up until now. What political event would you say was most polarizing, and which would you say gives a little bit of hope, if any?
Good evening, Felicity. That's quite a loaded question, but also I tried asking this question to all of the respondents that I'd spoken to. In fact, we had conversations even here in the newsroom, among ourselves colleagues, to try to fashion out or figure out which of those political events announced. Without meeting any words, it definitely was the particularly the Rivers State Governor Siminala Efubara. I believe for many that was the biggest event that caused the most of the political rancor. Seeing the suspension of the sitting governor by the president, the question of whether the president had the constitutional powers to do so, and the suspension of not just the governor but also the deputy governor and the entire House of, citing national security. Of course, the reason why that has happened was basically the biggest, and of course, Felicity, up until even a few weeks ago, we have seen that it was an issue in the courts up until the pronouncement, of course, of the Supreme Court that the president indeed has the powers to suspend the sitting governor. And even following the Supreme Court's position on the matter, we see it still has not, the dust is still yet to settle from all of that. And from all of what has happened, and of course, the development that followed afterwards, the defection of the governor to the APC, only adds a bit of salt to the injury that was opened as a result of this development. Felicity.
All right, George, one central development in all of 2025 was the seeming mass defection to the ruling or progressive Congress, and the fears that this movement is confirming fears that we're moving towards a one-party state, and that the opposition from the PDP to even your own party had so much crisis. Let's begin from there. Your thoughts on where we're headed in the coming year?
Very much. For me, it's just a very, very clear issue. And the issue is misgovernance. And we try to dress it up by calling it political alignment and realignment, because a particular party in power has been able to attract, a swarm of locusts to his midst, as has always been the case in Nigeria. Whatsoever parties in power tends to attract all of those who lack any form of understanding of the needs of the people for which they were elected to serve. We saw it when the PDP was in power. Practically all the governors in Nigeria were in the PDP camp, and they still lost power, and now they're in crisis. And so this is exactly what is happening. And we see what has happened in Rivers State is a clear example of a predetermined series of actions that would lead to the sort of expectations which we have seen now. It is not just the fact that the governor decamped into the party that took him out of power for 6 months. It's the fact that the party, without even waiting for a primaries, is already endorsing him for a second term. This is basically what they're all fighting for. They all want assurance that there won't be any sponsored infighting against their ambitions for a second term. Now, what has happened in the ADC is completely opposite. It is an organic mass movement and osmosis of different Nigerians coming into an organization. The sort of thing that hasn't really happened in this country before. A loose collection of people representing all the strata of Nigeria coming into an organization, giving a voice to the people, not simply the government in power. That's what we see as the highlight of 2025.
All right, Sagir, quickly, what are the chances from the coverage of the events of this year? What are the chances that the opposition, including the ADC, will be able to brace up for the elections in 2027, given the politicking that is ongoing? In 30 seconds, please. Sagir.
I would answer this question by, reeling out some of what we had discovered, during the course of putting the report together. First of which is at the National Assembly, which I covered, the Senate precisely at this moment. As at the time I filed the report, there were a total of 76 lawmakers who were bona fide members of the All Progressive Congress. I filed this report, I think, some 2 weeks ago, completely because we had to consistently move the filing date because events just kept happening. Felicity, after filing the report, 2 lawmakers a week later defected from the opposition party to the ruling party as it is, increasing the number from the initial 76, to 78. Before I filed the report, Siminalayi Fubara was yet to defect to the APC.
In my ear that we are out of time for this conversation. I'm so sorry. George, your quick thoughts on 2026 in 20 seconds, please.
2026 is the period that you are going to see the emergence of a powerful movement called the African Democratic Congress, and the ordinary Nigerian people are going to adopt that as a platform that will change Nigeria and rescue Nigeria from the perpetual hegemony that we have been experiencing under this particular ruling party for the past 10 years. Watch it.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being part of this conversation.